first, or do you care if we veer off?
Go ahead.
All right. So just need to ask you about, this is the first time we're getting to see you since the city worker vaccine mandate came out. Obviously, you're offering, at least the governor is offering some testing options as opposed to those who don't want to get vaccinated. Are you considering giving a testing option for city workers? And as far as your staff, is all of your staff vaccinated, and what happens if they don't?
They all have to be, my staff all has to be vaccinated. They all know that. I think the majority of them are, but they have to be vaccinated. There's no room there. We can't, we have to lead by example. We have to make sure that our folks are vaccinated. So let me just step back and kind of take this issue in a larger frame. Throughout the pandemic, we heard from workers really all across the city, in city government, in our sister agencies, that they were nervous, that they were scared, that they wanted a safe workplace. With the vaccine, we can provide exactly what the workers asked for, which is a safe workplace. When people are vaccinated, they're being safe for themselves, their family members, but also their colleagues. So creating that safe workplace that I think we all want to get to, the vaccine has to be mandated. And I also want to be clear, there is a lot of conversation about testing, and we're having those conversations with our colleagues that represent the public employees. But to be clear, testing is a point-in-time indicator of where you are. It is not a substitute for the vaccine. It just isn't. The only way that you can feel safe, not even feel safe, but be safe from the virus is to get vaccinated. And I want to emphasize this point again. When we see that 97% of the people that are showing up in hospitals and going into emergency rooms and being very sick or worse, dying, 97% are unvaccinated. That's a stunning number, and something that we all should take heed of. The best thing that we can do for ourselves individually, but what we can do for our families and our workplace is to get vaccinated, which is why we're pushing this. It's about safety in the workplace. Yes. Can we give him a microphone so I can hear you, but
obviously unions say that this is a collective bargaining issue. It's been raised by police. It's been raised by other unions. How do you mandate something when it has to be bargained, and will people be fired if they don't?
So let's be clear. We always want to engage with our unions on any issue that's going to affect their members and certainly their workplace. But it's a condition of employment. We are in a pandemic. We have a deadly variant that is killing people in our city every single day. We have people in hospitals who are clinging to life because they weren't vaccinated, and now they're in a terrible medical condition. And let me talk for a second about first responders. We have first responders that are in hospitals. The vast majority of them who are the sickest are people who are unvaccinated. This is not a nice notion. This is an urgent crisis that we have to address. We have a tool that has been given to us that we know is proven. 99% of the people who get vaccinated never get sick again. 99%. So it's in all of our interests to do what is necessary to take advantage of the life-saving tools that are right at our fingertips, that are free and readily available, and that's the vaccine. We have to do that. Those discussions obviously will continue, and I'm not going to negotiate here in the press. I understand there's a lot of concern, there's a lot of fear. We've got to continue to break through, I think, a lot of myths that are still out there about the virus, about the vaccine. We've got to educate folks, but we need to move forward decisively with this vaccine because it's the only way we get to a safe workplace, which is what workers have demanded. I've had a number of employees from across the city reach out to me to say, thank you, Mayor. We need this to feel safe coming into our workplace.
Mayor, Marianne Ahern from Channel 5.
When you say condition of employment, just following up on what he had to say, so that does mean if you're not vaccinated by October 15th, you're no longer working, and why?
Well, what I want to say here is we need to continue the discussions with our friends and colleagues in organized labor. We want to, I don't want this to be a punitive thing. I want people to get vaccinated to save their lives. That's really what the emphasis on. And what will we need to do to break through to get people comfortable so they will get vaccinated? I don't want to go to the punitive place, which some people like to go to right away. What I want to do is create a safe workplace where our workers feel comfortable coming to work and also interacting with members of the public. We've got a lot of frontline employees out there who are interacting with members of the public every day. We owe it to the public to also make sure that we're protected so they can be protected. So there's a lot more conversation that has to happen. There's a reason why, even though we're announcing now that we set the deadline for October 15th, and I feel comfortable that through conversation and dialogue, we'll get to a place. We're not going to satisfy everyone, but we'll get to a place that I think is the right place through conversation, through collaboration, and work through the fears that we're hearing articulated by the workers. We need to address those fears. Those fears are real, but we've got to get to a place where we disabuse them of a lot of the misinformation that continues to permeate social media, in the media, about the vaccine. We're hearing a lot of it in these conversations, which I think ultimately is a healthy thing, because then we can provide them with the facts and the truth.
Back to school opening,
Yep.
You did talk about being flexible.